All right. Hey, welcome to my cigar lounge. This is X Marks the Spot Cigar Lounge. Joined by my guest Sam. How you doing, Sam?
I'm excellent, man. How about yourself?
Doing wonderful. Well, today I have a rare treat for you.
Mm-hmm.
Recently, I was on a trip to the Bahamas and Mexico, and I was able to pick up some rare gems. So I got you a Diplomatico exclusive Caribe
Oh my
as a gift.
goodness.
Pretty darn cigar. That's a more of a Toro size, so
Mm-hmm.
equivalent to a Toro. I've only smoked it in the Robusto, but it was a darn good cigar. You know, a lot of people I think have something against Cubans, or they think it's immoral maybe to smoke a Cuban, but it's nice to partake every now and then. In fact, a lot of real famous people you read about in Cigar Aficionado, they really enjoy Cubans to a great extent.
Mm-hmm.
There's nothing wrong with it, enjoying something that's, I think, the fruit of a country's labor. And so I hope you enjoy it. I'll be smoking a Vegas Robania, which
Mm-hmm.
is another really good cigar. I haven't had it in the torpedo size, but I've had it in a Robusto size. So I'm actually pretty excited about this bad boy.
Awesome. Well, thanks for having me out here today. You want to go ahead and start the cutting?
Yeah, not a bad cigar. So far, so good.
The light up was excellent. I've never actually had a Cuban before. My very first ever.
That's awesome.
Super excited. Thank you so much again.
You're welcome.
But it's nothing. It's like nothing I've ever tasted before. I don't know too much about descriptive words. I'm pretty novice when it comes to all this. I love the culture of it for sure,
Yeah.
but just excellent overall lighting.
Well, the biggest thing about Cubans, the biggest descriptor that I've heard, and I kind of gotta agree, is like a grassy hay
Yeah.
flavor. That's something you won't see out of a lot of Nicaraguan or
Mm-hmm.
Dominican tobaccos. Is that grassy straw flavor? In fact, Cuban cigars should be kept at a much lower humidity
Mm-hmm.
for that reason. Is you don't want to overpower the cigar with a lot of moisture, because then it changes the flavor profile quite considerably.
I see.
I've noticed that ones that are over humidified seem to be less flavorful.
Mm-hmm.
Although there's not a lot of Cubans that I've encountered, and I trust me, I don't have as much experience either, that are overpowering cigar or powerful or spice bomb.
Mm-hmm.
They're all usually that mild to medium flavor profile, and they all have slight changes in smoking
Mm-hmm.
and notes. The only thing I've ever found very distinct is the Cohiba Siglo series,
Yeah.
Siglo 6. And that's the only one that I always thought of as more flavor profile, more imaginative. It changes through the first, second, and third of the cigar. And so, but the rest are pretty decent.
Do you typically stick with a certain region of cigars? Do you have a favorite?
In New World cigars,
New World cigars or Cubans?
um, I generally prefer Nicaraguan tobacco
Mm-hmm.
with Dominican fillers and binders. The wrapper leaves that come out of Dominican are the best in the world, in my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
What about you?
I love anything Nicaraguan. The Flor de las Antillas is for sure my number one favorite. I mean, it was, I think, number one cigar in 2017. It's okay priced, I think,
Yeah.
but I don't like spending too much on cigars myself.
Yeah, it kind of stings when you're dropping $50 or $60 for one stick. It gets a little wild. And it's not, I think that's the thing about cigars. It's one of those luxuries in life that you
Mm-hmm.
afford yourself. And it just depends on how much. I've only been smoking cigars for about 4 years now.
Yes.
I started off real meek and just trying different blends, trying different makers, kind of getting my foothold on what I liked. My flavor palette has changed over the last 2 years, so
Mm-hmm.
I really feel like that's something that happens for everybody. In fact, that seems to be a common denominator. What you started smoking when you first started smoking cigars isn't usually what you smoke on a routine basis
Mm-hmm.
later.
And what got you into cigars?
So I've actually never been a smoker. I've never smoked cigarettes. Um, I've never smoked anything.
Mm-hmm.
I always had a draw to cigars just because of the status it brings, or the it just everybody I've ever seen smoke a cigar seems really relaxed
Yeah.
and just kind of just just level headed. Um, I like the lure of cigar lounges per se because you get a lot of people from all different walks of life, and you try not to talk about politics or religion. You
Mm-hmm.
just get together, enjoy a good stick, talk about the cigar itself, talk about sports, talk about something in common, and just enjoy it. I mean, they're not meant to be smoked really fast.
Mm-hmm.
It's something to be savored and really enjoyed.
That's awesome, man. I don't know what really got me into it. I always liked the idea of it growing up. I'm a young kid. On the movies, seeing the gangsters with the big cigars.
Yeah.
But a good buddy of mine, well, hopefully he's watching Marshall Allsip. Um, he got me into golfing and smoking cigars. I felt like a real G out there. Uh, he got me. Is it the Arturo Fuente 801?
That's a fantastic cigar.
Excellent cigar. I
And a
think
good beginner cigar too.
yeah, that's the one he gave me. Smoked it out there on the golf course. Um, Absolutely fantastic time.
So you enjoy golf.
Yes, yes. I'm not good. I wish I could get better. Um, for a while, I was trying to get into the golf industry, uh, but real estate really is what caught my eye.
Well, believe it or not, I'm a respiratory therapist. So I
Yeah,
treat people that have lung issues absolutely associated with cigarette smoking,
yeah.
different things like vape pens. I've never treated a cigar only smoker, and I'll just preface this by saying I'm not an expert. I'm not saying it's safe. It's
Mm-hmm.
it's a good alternative. I'm not saying that at all. It's very unhealthy habit,
Yes.
but similar to caffeine consumption, the risk is lower statistically speaking than a cigarette smoker, and it's all relative speaking. I know there's other factors involved, but do you worry about the risk sometimes?
I do worry about the risk a little bit, but I'm not the healthiest dude in the world, number one. And also, you only live once. Um, and, I try to work to have a better tomorrow, but I also want to live in today.
Sure.
So if I always worry about, being, not inhaling the cigars and saving my money for later, something tragic, God forbid that happens, could happen.
Yeah.
So,
I I feel like it's one of those things. I obviously much later in life enjoyed my first stick. So much later in life, I started partaking in cigars. I
mm-hmm,
I felt like it was just one of those situations. I was out on a cruise with some buddies, and my buddy Rob, he always lit up cigars whenever we were on trips together, like hiking trips and
mm-hmm,
canoe trips and stuff. And I felt like it was the right environment. I
yeah,
was surrounded by a bunch of friends, and we all lit up one. My first cigar was a Rocky Patel Edge,
yeah,
which is a phenomenal cigar. I still have probably a box, close to a box in there in my
yeah,
humidor. And so I thought I would come home and maybe enjoy it maybe once a month or if that. But then I really started doing my research into it, and um, just like anything else, I just really kind of fell in love with it. It's a
yeah,
pretty romantic thing to just sit out and being able to enjoy it with friends, enjoy one by yourself sometimes, and just take note of life in general.
Mm-hmm.
Um, this cigar lounge is kind of a product of that.
Yes, I was going to ask you about that.
Yeah, so obviously my wife and I don't even want to smoke in my own house. I don't
Mm-hmm.
want to get cigar smoke flavor just smells throughout my entire house. So I started off in my covered patio out here. This is actually a patio of
Mm-hmm.
my home. And I just started by simply putting up a drop cloth canvas just
Yeah.
to keep the wind off so I could enjoy a cigar every now and then. Um, Over the years, it incarnated. Probably put pictures up later on of it, but into what we see today, fully insulated, framed, low E windows to keep the winter time out,
Mm-hmm.
furnace, fireplace, AC for the summertime. So this is a 365-day a year lounge.
Yeah. I tell you, every Thursday when we meet up, I look forward to it. I mean, I haven't had any cigars on my own time in a minute with this weather, especially with this snowstorm that just came through.
Yeah, yeah, it's definitely a blessing. I've been able to do it myself, so kind of took tips and tricks from other cigar lounges I'd seen from home,
Mm-hmm.
and then added my own flair to it. A lot of the signage you'll see in the pictures,
Mm-hmm.
all the that's a reflection of my taste.
Yes.
It may not be everybody's taste. Some of my service information and different things like that, but and that's another thing I love the idea of is as a soldier out in the field, in the middle of the desert, Dubai, puffing away on a good stick,
Yeah.
after he's got victory,
Mm-hmm.
from going out, coming back with his life in his hands, and just amazing feeling that it's got to be to enjoy a cigar after you've accomplished something that big.
Mm-hmm.
I have my little wins at home, in my everyday life, but I'm not out there risking my life like a lot of those guys. I served, but I wasn't on the front lines or anything like some of those guys, and so I try to support Cigars for Warriors
Mm-hmm.
as much as possible because I think that's a fantastic cause.
Yes.
If those guys are out there serving for us and protecting our freedoms, by God, they deserve a darn fine cigar.
Yes. I love that.
So, what do you like to do more? Do you like to smoke a cigar at a lounge, or do you like to enjoy one when the weather's nice at home? What's kind of your bag on that?
My big thing is the people around me. Cigars are fantastic. I love the flavors. I love the everything about it. But the people are the number one thing for me. Um, even it's something as silly as my grandma sitting out on the porch with me while I smoke a cigar, and she sits there and plays on her Facebook. That's fantastic for me. I like going to the cigar lounge and meeting with buddies, and meeting new people. Shout out to Brandon from the Royale.
That's really come into a nice cigar lounge. I've been to it a few times before it became the Royale. And
Mm-hmm.
I've been to it since after it became the Royale, and it's gotten better.
Yeah.
There's been some improvements, and especially in their humidor.
Yes.
I think that's one of the biggest things I find is you'll find either a really good selection of cigars in their humidor
Mm-hmm.
and kind of a okay lounge, or you'll find a really nice lounge with a really crappy selection of cigars and
Mm-hmm.
almost ones that are flavored or meant for a younger generation, I guess. But I do like a good mix of both, and that lounge is pretty tops when it comes to their selection and their lounge.
I
It's a
see.
really good recommendation actually.
Any other cigar lounges you recommend?
I like the new one here in Tulsa, Bourbon and Ash.
Yeah.
That's a really nice, very big lounge, so it can accommodate a lot of cigar smokers, and they have a fantastic selection. Cigar box about 5 miles from my house,
Mm-hmm.
or no, 1 mile, 5 minutes from my house. That's another really good lounge. It's a smaller lounge, but I like the people.
Yes.
I agree wholeheartedly with what you said. It's about who you're smoking, who you're enjoying a good stick with, that makes a huge difference when it comes to really enjoying or not enjoying a cigar.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you could have a really crappy cigar, but as long as you're having good conversation, you kind of bear through it a little
Yeah.
bit and wait for your next stick to come around. Or you could have a really great cigar and have bad company, and that great cigar is not going to taste too good.
Yes. What is your least favorite thing about the cigar industry?
Um, I think sometimes the limited edition cigars where
Mm-hmm.
you can tell they're making just a good run of the mill cigar, and I'm not knocking the cigars that are limited. In fact, I kind of have my special limited that I try to buy every year. Actually, two of them. One
Yeah.
is the Amazon Basin,
Uh huh.
and the other one is the Arturo Fuente Pinks.
Yes.
They're really good cigars, in my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
That's just me. But a lot of the limited edition cigars I've purchased in the past, I would probably compare them to something I might smoke every day.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's a little bit aggravating. I'd say the other biggest aggravation is just actually what they're up against, what the cigar industry is up against when it comes to regulation, the FDA,
Yes.
and the fight for our freedom to enjoy something like a premium hand rolled cigar. And that's just my opinion. What about you?
I really don't have too many downsides of it myself. Um, you know, Something that has crossed my mind before is the working conditions of you know the cigar industry. I don't know too much about the New World. Um, you know Everything I've heard just from past generations about Cuba and how they treat their soil and how they treat the industry themselves. That's something that I've put a little bit of thought into, but
Yeah,
not too much.
I do know the Cuban regime is obviously it's kind of mellowed out over the years, especially since Castro's been out of power. Um, I do actually plan on visiting Cuba one day,
Yeah.
just for a cultural tour. Um, I'm really interested to find out firsthand
Mm-hmm.
um, how the people are treated, how they feel about their what they're where they're living at, what they go through. I know it's not the best situation,
Mm-hmm.
but they do make the best of it. And then I do know bigger cigar makers like Vicencia, Arturo Fuente, among others, Rocky Patel, J.C. Newman. They're involved in their communities like you wouldn't believe.
Mm-hmm.
They become part of the communities that grow the tobacco, that roll the cigars, that ferment the tobacco, and so on and so forth. The 300 pairs of hands that touch a cigar
Mm-hmm.
over the life from seedling to finished product. And they build schools, they do community outreach, they build clinics and hospitals. And so and it could just be for show, but it feels genuine,
Yes.
and you feel that genuineness come out in those makers, and they're turning a profit. I mean, it's a capital market,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm proud of that. And so I think that's what one of the best things. I mean, we're not doing this for charity either,
No.
but at the same time, I do believe that communities in Estili, Nicaragua, Santo Domingo, Dominican Republic, they do truly benefit from the industry, because without the industry, there would be a lot of less jobs
Yes.
available in usually highly high unemployment numbers in these countries.
Mm-hmm.
And so if it's not cigars, it could be something else. They could be growing poppy seeds or drugs or of something else. And so I believe it's a great part of the industry. So Sam, what do you think about your first Cuban cigar, man?
It's absolutely fantastic. The flavor on it is excellent. I don't know. I'm getting like almost sweet taste notes from it. I don't know if that's typical with
Yeah,
Cubans.
absolutely.
The burn on it is actually pretty well. It's holding onto the ash.
Yeah,
I was moving around a little bit, messing with the camera, and it
I
did
did see
fall
you
on
ash
me.
yourself a little bit.
So that was on me. I wouldn't blame it on the cigar. Um, I mean, overall, I'm having a good experience. I am having a little bit of a hard time getting a draw through it,
Yeah, yeah,
but I also I also like just pulling crazy wind through them, blowing big clouds.
yeah,
So I'm probably getting more of a slow burn, more flavor out of this one for sure.
yeah. And that is pretty typical. I've noticed about the Cubans I've had. Cuba was the gold standard when it came to cigars many years ago. Um, like the owner of Tatuaje says, they invented the wheel.
Yeah.
They're just making really bad wheels right now. So I won't discount them because that it's still the allure. But what about the actual cigar itself, like the construction? What do you think? Like, was it what you were expecting? Or
I mean, construction was great. I love seeing I don't know what it's called. I'm going to refer to it as the veins
mm-hmm.
of the leaf. I mean, it's great. I don't see any holes, any
Yeah,
cracking yet.
yeah.
What about you? What are you experiencing?
So I've got the Vegas Urbana torpedo shape. So I'm getting a nice draw for torpedo shape. I've noticed
Mm-hmm.
some torpedo cigars, even New World cigars, they do tend to get a little tight. I'm experiencing the exact same thing you are, just a little bit tight on the draw, like the rollers were just rolling a little too tight, trying to force a lot of leaf in there. I notice I'm not picking up any stems, so I notice that when they roll it, it's just from the way they're used to rolling.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't think they get to experience the end product that much. So maybe that's part of the reason why they roll them so tight.
Mm-hmm.
Um, both of ours have that same brown classic cigar hue to them,
Yes.
that coloring. That just when you think of cigars, that's the brown I think of when it comes to cigars. Um, I think the construction is wonderful for, especially from some of the ones I've seen.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, I know it's a hand rolled product, and I'm not expecting perfection, but I can tell you there's a lot of Nicaraguan rollers that make a much better product finish. Um, I love the band on this thing.
Yeah.
I don't know if you can see it, but that R for Robania.
Mm-hmm.
Robania, which is a really exciting story. The Robania family was one of the only cigar makers in Cuba that actually was able to keep their farm and control their farm
Mm-hmm.
versus the Cuban government controlling it, which is really exciting when you think about it. It's still a family owned business,
Mm-hmm.
just like all the New World cigars out there, like Arturo Fuente and Rocky Patel. So I do enjoy supporting this particular brand of cigar,
Yeah.
and a lot of my friends really enjoy Robanias as well.
Mark, what are you drinking, man?
Well, it's not bourbon.
No?
It's not any rum. Although I do drink those more often than not, believe it or not. I drink a Dr. Pepper.
Mm-hmm.
To me, Dr. Pepper is one of those most universal pairings of cigar and drink for non-alcoholic.
Yeah.
I've never been a big fan, and I know I'm going to get bashed over the head for this statement. I've never been a big fan of bourbon in that charred oak barrel flavor. When I do drink alcohol, I'll usually drink something like a Johnny Walker Black
Yeah.
or other scotches because I like the blend of scotch and it just brings out the flavors of the cigar to me. I drink it neat
Yeah.
without ice because I don't want anything to shock my palate when I'm smoking my cigar, going back and forth between hot and cold, hot and cold. I don't like my Dr. Pepper necessarily at room temperature, but the 23 flavors of the cigar, it almost brings out the however many flavors, the 23 flavors of the Dr. Pepper
Yes.
almost brings out the flavors of the complexity of the cigars.
Mm-hmm.
And so, what about you? I see you're drinking something that looks a little
Well,
off.
no bourbon for me, no rum for me either. Um, I don't drink alcohol myself. I'm actually having A&W cream soda. I get migraines if
Yeah,
I drink alcohol.
yeah.
I probably really shouldn't be smoking these either, but I'm willing to sacrifice for the cigars. Um, no, I mean, I've always loved cream soda. My grandfather introduced it to me when I was a little kid. We'd go run air conditioning calls, and after going working in an air conditioner when it's 100 degrees out, you look forward to coming back to the truck.
And having a nice cold
Yeah,
A&W root
yeah.
beer.
Sam, get in the back and go grab us a A&W. So
That's awesome.
it was absolutely fantastic.
I think of cigar pairings when drinks, and I think it's really up to every man. Like there's no standard. I
Mm-hmm.
mean, it does seem like a lot of the artwork you see, the standard seems to be bourbon.
Yeah.
That seems to be the common denominator. I smoke cigars probably a little bit more often than the average probably cigar smoker.
Mm-hmm.
I'm usually out here 3 or 4 days a week. I usually have about 3 or 4 sticks per night.
Yes.
And so if I drank as much as I smoked,
Mm-hmm.
I'd be an alcoholic probably.
Yeah.
And that there's nothing wrong with that. I'm not judging anybody. I think a lot of what I was worried about when I first got into cigars was etiquette.
Yes.
Like, am I doing the right thing? Am I making myself look like an idiot? And there are some amateur things that I still laugh at.
Yeah.
I'll talk about that in a second. But then I realized cigar smoking is, again, it's about enjoyment. And if I'm having to fit myself into a suit
Yes.
that I'm not going to be comfortable in, I might look good, but I'm not comfortable. And so it doesn't really matter if I look good or not because I'm not comfortable. So that's going to make myself not feel good anyways.
Yeah.
I like a good fitting suit, and I
Mm-hmm.
still like to look good. And so cigars are the same way. Again, there's a couple of faux pas you can make. I think one of the things that I laugh at when I see somebody doing it is they'll be in a cigar shop
Mm-hmm.
and they'll pull the cigar up with the wrapper still on it and kind of run it across their nose because they saw somebody else do something similar. I think that's hilarious because all they're doing is smelling the cellophane that's around the cigar. A couple of the other things that kind of do drive me nuts as a cigar smoker is if I'm in a lounge and when I'm done with my cigar and I take it and I just pound the heck out of
Mm-hmm.
it until it goes out. It's not a cigarette, and all you're gonna do is really burn everybody's nostrils with that smoke that bellows out from doing that. When you're done with a cigar, the proper thing to do is I'm done with it. I'm just going to set it down on the ashtray and let it burn out on its own.
Mm-hmm.
That way, you're not bothering anybody else that you're around. If you want to do that at home, by all means, do that at home. The other thing I think I see a lot of people doing is they'll want to cut the cigar way over here, somewhere down about an inch in.
Yes.
All you're really trying to do is just cut off a layer or two of that end cap
Mm-hmm.
just to expose the cigar itself. The cigar is made to draw with just that top layer missing. So you're only talking about a 32nd of an inch,
Mm-hmm.
if that, to cut off the end of a cigar. And I actually prefer a punch cut.
Yeah.
Is there a particular cut you like to use on your cigars?
I just like the classic cut. Just barely snip the end. Um, going back to the etiquette, the thing that bothers me the most is when people take their garbage and put it in the ashtray.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
it's not a garbage can.
The wrapper, the band.
The wrapper, the bands. Typically, the people have a actual bucket dedicated for ashes and for the cigars that they put in, and that can
I couldn't
start a
agree
fire.
more. Yeah.
It could produce a foul odor.
Yeah. Another thing that kind of drives me nuts, I'm a little bit of a obsessive compulsive about, is a dirty ashtray. I know you've seen me over here.
Yes.
About every 2 cigars, I'm over here emptying it out of my ash can.
Yes.
I can't stand a dirty ashtray. That is one thing that will just drive me insane. I think it goes back to my childhood. Both of my parents smoked cigarettes, and there was dirty ashtrays all over the house, and it just makes me nauseated to think about it. To this day, I can't touch a pack of cigarettes.
Yeah.
In fact, I've talked to some people that have converted over to cigars from cigarettes, and I've talked to one guy, and he actually still inhales his cigars, which I accidentally inhaled one time, and I about turned 8 shades of green.
Yeah.
And I almost puked my guts out just by accidentally inhaling once.
That's funny because every few hits I actually do inhale a cigar.
Really?
I used to vape I used to smoke cigarettes. It's a terrible thing. I
Yeah,
feel awful about it now, but I do like that feeling. I feel like you get different flavors from it.
yeah.
Um, but
Oh, not judging you by any means. I just can't. I
yeah,
can't do that. Now, what about retrohaling? That brings up a good subject. What about do you like to
I
retrohale?
love retrohaling. I haven't done it too much with this cigar just because I'm not getting too much output on it. Um, but retrohaling is one of my favorite things. I love that burn, that spiciness that you get through it,
Yeah.
that sweetness. I call it sweetness. Um,
And are you getting any other flavor notes from that cigar?
yeah, I mean, you do get other flavors. I'm not much of a description guy. I don't know too much about it. I probably need to invest into it, more knowledge upon it since I'm spending all the money on these things. Um, and it also gives you something to debate about with your buddies on I'm getting
Yeah.
coconut from this one. No,
Yeah.
it's chocolate.
Yeah.
It's coffee.
It's funny you mention that. I do notice when I retrohale this, it does take on an entirely different flavor profile to me. It almost comes out with that what I call pretty run of the mill grassy hay flavor.
Mm-hmm.
That's really kind of exclusive to Cuban cigars, I think, that grassy hay flavor to them. I do notice the sweetness as well.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Again, it's just a totally different experience when you retrohale, in my opinion. I know everybody has different taste buds and
Yes.
their different favorite taste of a cigar, but this breaks up there pretty high, in my opinion. Again, the Siglo 6 I think is just a little bit more flavorful,
Mm-hmm.
but I haven't experienced, and I've tried about maybe a dozen different Cubans
Mm-hmm.
in my smoking time, and I gotta say, I've not been very impressed. But this one ranks right up there with the Siglo and the Diplomatico. So that's why I really wanted you to experience that Diplomatico, was
Yes.
because it's one of my favorite. It's probably top five of the Cuban cigars.
Yeah, it's been pretty darn good so far. Now you said you smoked over a dozen cube.
About a dozen. Yeah.
How do you do this? Do you go out of the country? Do you have some guy, giving it to you, behind the counter at the cigar lounge? I mean, tell us more about how you get your
Well,
hands on them.
for a while under different administration, we were actually allowed to. They were actually allowed to import a certain amount of Cubans
Mm-hmm.
for a very short time. Um, so yeah, if you're buying a Cuban in the States at a retail store, it's going to be a fake.
Yeah.
I'm sorry to tell you. Um, in fact, there's a lot of cigars behind the Walgreens counter that say
Mm-hmm.
Cuban on them,
Yes.
and it's kind of comical because they have that same Cohiba banding on them,
Mm-hmm.
that yellow and black. And so, no, actually, I do travel a lot. So
Yeah.
I've traveled all over the Caribbean. I've traveled to Europe. And we're the only country in the world that can't legally buy Cuban cigars.
Mm-hmm.
Now, a word of caution is there's probably about 90% fake Cubans out there, and about 10% are authentic. The biggest factor, I mean, it's no brainer. Cost.
Yeah.
If you're buying a Cuban cigar for $5, it's a fake Cuban cigar. Sorry to tell you.
Yes.
I go on a lot of cruises, and I see a lot of people coming back on board the ship with a wood box with a glass top, and it says Cohiba
Mm-hmm.
or Monte Cristo, and they're all individually wrapped in cellophane. And the guy told me he paid $2 per cigar. I gotta I gotta let them sometimes down easy,
Yeah.
or let them enjoy it, one or
Yeah.
the other. I mean, hey, and I don't want to rain on anybody's parade. I'm not a snob.
Yeah.
I don't want to be a cigar snob. I don't want to be taken as one. I do think I know a thing or two about cigars,
Mm-hmm.
but I definitely could learn a lot more. And so albeit for me to ruin anybody's dream of that they're smoking a Cuban cigar.
Where do you pick up a lot of this knowledge at? Were you just born with it, or?
Good question. So just my local brick and mortar shop
Mm-hmm.
right down the road, Cigar Box. The manager there, Robert, he was very helpful to me. He really helped me learn about what to try, what to stay away from. a little bit of cigar lounge etiquette, but also going online.
Yes.
I know I'm older. I'm about to be 50 this year,
Oh yeah.
so
Congrats, man.
thank you. But I'm not old enough to not look up on YouTube.
Yes.
Look at content about cigars. Cigars Daily by Tim Swanson out in Phoenix.
Mm-hmm.
He was a godsend when it came to learning about cigar etiquette, learning about what to do, not make yourself look like a fool, what is okay, how much humidity to keep in your humidor, what kind of humidor to buy,
Mm-hmm.
how to light a cigar. A lot of that came from Tim. And then as far as Cuban cigars in particular, you can actually read a lot right on their website, SA Habanos.
Yes.
It's a plethora of knowledge on there. They tell you what stores are authorized retailers
Mm-hmm.
and who sells the authentic stuff. And they actually have a way to serial number check each box of cigars that they
Yes.
sell to see if it's an actual authentic Cuban product, which is pretty cool.
Awesome. With all this wealth of knowledge that you have you ever actually thought about breaking into the cigar industry?
Actually, I would love to.
Mm-hmm.
I think that would be my ultimate retirement plan is to take X marks the spot cigar lounge to
Mm-hmm.
retail
Yeah.
and make it a business. I think we're a little saturated in the market currently
Mm-hmm.
with cigar lounges and shops. But if one was to come up for sale or somebody's looking to get out of the business, I think I could take that mantle
Yeah.
and make it a very exciting place to be, one where everybody's welcome, whether they're a new cigar smoker that's never even tried one,
Mm-hmm.
or whether they're an experienced aficionado. I think that's important that you want to cater to everybody and just have everybody have a good time. What about you? What's your dreams with your cigar career?
Well, I think it would be pretty cool to work in a shop. If you do buy a cigar shop, I'll invest. So look out for X marks the spot one day.
Coming soon to a
Coming
town near
soon.
you.
Yes. But I would just love to, take the cigars for me and apply them into my real estate business. Network with people, get to know people, be able to assist people. Um, that's the big thing for me.
That's awesome. And that's why I like about enjoying a good cigar. I mean, I've seen professional athletes just really enjoy a stick. I know cigar aficionado gets made fun of by a lot of people, especially Tim Swanson. He kind of takes some jabs at him every
Mm-hmm.
now and then. But really, to be honest, if you're really wanting to learn a lot about cigar ratings, different things, but also just read articles about everyday people, but also you'd be surprised about the amount of people that are cigar smokers. I mean, you've seen Arnold Schwarzenegger in a
Oh yeah.
movie
Oh yeah.
with a
Yeah.
cigar,
Dipping a cigar in
yeah,
the
in
bourbon.
tequila,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah. Tequila.
yeah, and he's probably one of the most infamous TV, movie stars that
Yes.
really enjoys cigars. But also, there's so many athletes out there. There's so many businessmen, successful businessmen at that. That just really enjoy finer things in life, and I think that's the biggest appeal. Yes, it's a luxury item, but it's not an out of the reach luxury item
Yes.
that only the super rich can afford. And so you could be in a cigar lounge with a guy that makes $20,000 a year sitting right next to a guy that makes $2 million a month
Mm-hmm.
and not even know it. And they're having a great conversation and enjoying a great stick together. And that's what makes it so appealing to me is the camaraderie,
Mm-hmm.
the brotherhood almost. It's not like we're serving a battle together,
Yes.
but we have a very common interest, and that's a premium hand rolled cigar. And I think the fact that that's the government, the FDA in particular, is trying to remove that pleasure in our world sucks. I
Yeah.
mean, there's no better way to put it. But I still think, with what I was saying earlier, there's a lot of senators, House representatives that still enjoy a
Mm-hmm.
good premium handled cigar. and they're not going to let something like that be taken from our freedoms.
Yeah, they're holding down the fort for us.
Exactly. Yeah, they're fighting against the FDA, believe it or
Yeah.
not, even though they gave them the power to exist, which I think is kind of comical. So, seeing it all play out, I think an outright prohibition against cigars, I think, is a little far fetched. And I know there's some countries where they, in general, have raised the tobacco age every year, so they call it age out
Mm-hmm.
law, where basically if you're 21, then the next year they raise the cigar age to 22. The next year is 23, so that after a certain year when you're born, you'll never be able to enjoy tobacco products,
Legally.
including cigars, legally. But those countries that have began that practice, like New Zealand, are actually rolling those laws back because it's still viewed as a prohibition.
Mm-hmm.
And as we know from alcohol in the United States, prohibition doesn't really work.
Yeah, people are going to do what they want to do.
Yeah, they're going to enjoy the finer things in life,
Mm-hmm.
and everything's in moderation, in my opinion. And I'm a Christian man.
Mm-hmm.
I go to church every Sunday, and I don't have any problem with anybody that doesn't. Um, I have a problem with people who indulge a little too much. I myself indulge in food quite a bit,
Yes. Yes.
but I also try to do other things in moderation. Again, you'll probably see me out here more than the average cigar aficionado,
Mm-hmm.
but I don't feel like I overindulge in anything like that more than probably food. And so you could debate that all night long. But yeah, I mean, I don't know. Is there something that you also indulge in? I know
Well,
you said watches at one point before.
I do enjoy the idea of watches. I don't like spending the money on the watches. I do enjoy, eating out just because, that's the only time I feel like I get to spend time with my family. I don't have a lot of people that smoke cigars from, uh, you know, before 2 years ago that I know. Uh, so eating out was a big one. I love Italian food. Um, I was going to ask you, you were saying you come out here 3, 4 nights a week and you smoke 3 or 4 sticks a night. You know, do you go to a cigar lounge every single week and buy more to fill up your humidor? What's the
That's a
story with
great
that?
question, actually.
Where do you keep all these things?
So you'll be able to see it in some of the clips that we have. I do have a very nice Rushing 380
Mm-hmm.
cigar humidor that I just acquired last year, actually, now.
Yeah.
And it's great. A thermoelectric cigar humidor, I think, is vital
Yes.
to the aficionado. I've seen other things. I've seen people with Tupperware containers that they keep their sticks in with
Mm-hmm.
Bovida packs. To me, the Rushing is just the way to go. It's self-regulating on temperature and humidity. I
Yes.
just got to put distilled water in it about every month or 2 months.
Mm-hmm.
Then I definitely love supporting my local brick and mortar shop because I know one day I might even own one. So if I'm buying a new stick for the first time, or I'm buying 2 or 3 sticks of a same cigar, there's no better place than a lounge
Mm-hmm.
or a cigar shop, because not only are you supporting your local economy, you're getting it right now. Like, so if
Yeah.
I'm in the mood for a Perdomo 30th anniversary, I know Cigar Cellar sells Perdomo's 30th anniversary,
Yeah.
and they have a lot of them. And so if I'm out, I just make the drive over to Tulsa Hills and grab a cigar from there. Also, it's a good way that you're not having to invest your time and energy into buying 2 or 3 sticks of, several different brands and different
Yes.
models. And then if I really enjoy a cigar, and there's quite a big list of cigars I do really enjoy,
Yeah.
I'll buy my boxes usually online. And I usually try to purchase from Cigars International or Cigars Daily. I've purchased from other online retailers. I've had really good experiences. I know there's some people out there that have had bad experiences with
Mm-hmm.
purchasing online, um, but I don't feel that way. I've probably in the last 4 years, I've probably purchased probably about 100 boxes of cigars or
Wow.
equivalent to that.
Yeah.
And so, what about you? I know you just come with some interesting sticks sometimes, and so I
Yeah.
think that's what's most interesting about you as an aficionado.
Well, I'm more probably closer to a novice, but um, a lot of the times, I like going to the cigar lounge and meeting someone new, and they will introduce me to a cigar, and they're like, "Yeah, they actually have them back there. Go grab one." So I'll go grab two of them at a time, just to build up my collection. Something else is, Marshall again. He would buy, in bulk, and he would, sell me a couple of the sticks or give me a couple of the sticks. So that, helped me, find out what I did like and what I didn't like.
Yeah.
Um,
Where do you feel like you're at in your journey with cigar smoking?
I feel for sure like I'm at the beginning of it. Meeting you really opened my eyes to it for sure. I've heard a lot about, the culture itself and, everything about it, but it's really helped me dive into it, learn more about the culture, the actual sticks themselves, and not just, having the biggest cigar, um, trying to look like a G.
Yeah, that's awesome. You know, I my favorite size is a Toro.
Yeah.
I mean, I probably buy. In fact, I've not purchased a box on purpose because they were out of the Toros,
Mm-hmm.
and they only had like a Robusto or a Lancero or a Gigante or something like that. And so, to me, the best value for the dollar has to be the Toro
Yeah.
because it's usually a dollar or two more than a Robusto,
Mm-hmm.
which is another standard size in the industry. But to me, you get about 30 more minutes of smoke out of it. And so that dollar or two difference, it's got to make sense to me math wise.
Yes.
So what am I getting value for my dollar? If I'm going to pay a dollar more for a Toro size and get about 30 more minutes of smoke, then I'm smoking less cigars, so
Mm-hmm.
I'm saving money in the long run. It just makes financial sense. I'm not a tightwad or anything, but
Yeah.
plus, um, Toro seems to be the standard size, so they may not make it in any other size, but most cigar makers make most of their cigars in a
Mm-hmm.
Toro size plus other sizes. And so it's kind of like the gold standard. It's not too big, so I don't feel like I'm smoking a tree trunk,
Mm-hmm.
but it's not too small where I'm going to go through it really fast because if I'm worried about the time I'm going to take to enjoy a cigar, then I don't need to enjoy it.
Yes.
I'll wait. I'll wait till a later time or date. And if I have to go or if I'm fishing,
Mm-hmm.
I'm more of a fishing guy. I do like to play golf. I got to admit, I'm not good at it either, but I enjoy fishing and enjoying a cigar. And so I'll bring like a factory smoke, which is a Cuban sandwich,
Yes.
and with me because if I drop it in the water by accident, I don't feel like I'm going to cry because I just dropped a $30 cigar in the
Mm-hmm.
water that I was really enjoying.
Yes.
And nothing wrong with factory smokes. In fact, they're a phenomenal cigar for about $2 a stick. I've also experimented lately with a lot of no name cigars.
Yeah.
Even Toronto's. That's been my new go to daily cigar smoke. They come in on Cigars International for between $2 and $3 a stick,
Mm-hmm.
and for $2 or $3 a stick, they pack a lot of flavor. My go to cigar everyday smoke that I could just buy till the cows come home has got to be a Hoyo de Monterrey Esquiro.
Yeah.
Um, Again, in a Toro.
Mm-hmm.
When you buy them on sale, bulk pricing, I guess you want to say, you're paying about $4 a stick. And I've never met another stick at that $4 price range,
Mm-hmm.
$4 or $5 price range, that packs so much flavor, so much excitement from beginning, first, third, second, third, all the way to the end. I'll nub them down to the
Yes.
very end. I think you've seen that a couple of
Mm-hmm.
times.
Yes. My favorite budget stick for sure is the factory smoke Maduro. You get a 25 pack for $75. Never run out. That's what I smoke on the golf course typically because
Absolutely.
I can actually taste it. The goose poop on the green isn't gonna affect it.
Yeah.
I'm not worried about throwing it on the ground.
Yeah.
Um, Another one of my go tos for sure is the La Roma de Cuba with the red band. I think it's the
Yeah.
Connecticut. Is that
Yeah.
right? That's
Yeah.
for sure one of my go tos. Another one is the Grand Habano Vintage 2002.
Yeah.
I love that one. I It's gonna sound silly. I think it kind of tastes like Seven Up myself. I drink a lot of Seven Up when I smoke cigars too, so that could be affecting it.
Yeah. 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 Probably a little bias.
Yes.
7 Up bias. Yeah, the ones you mentioned are just phenomenal, especially La Roma de Cuba. I think it's just their standard cigar.
Mm-hmm.
That's their base cigar, and I think I was mentioning to you last night, like La Roma de Cuba, San Cristobal. These are just staples in the cigar
Yeah.
industry. I mean, they are just when you think of cigars, you think of their packaging.
Yeah.
Um, I'm a real kind of by sight kind of guy.
Yes.
I've purchased if I'm not getting a recommendation from somebody and I'm just in the shop and I'm browsing, I just go based on, hey, that's a cool cigar band on that cigar. I wonder what that tastes like. And when I buy a cigar I've never tried, I
Yes.
try to buy at least two, if
Yes.
not three or four. Just because if I do have a bad experience the first time of enjoying a cigar, I could try it again.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if you've experienced this, but cigar smoking, it depends on what you ate before you
Mm-hmm.
smoke that cigar. It depends on what you're pairing it with. There's a lot of factors that goes into flavor. If you've smoked 3 or 4 before that cigar,
Yes.
that could alter your experience of that cigar. So I don't discount a cigar. I've never done that except for one time.
Yes.
It's one of your
Oh, I
favorites.
was actually gonna mention that one. I
The Man of War.
Yes. I think you need to give it a try, man. One one is none, two is one. I think that's the saying, right?
Well, I'll just say this. My first experience, I probably could try it again, but my first experience was when I was driving in my truck. It was probably the third cigar I had.
Mm-hmm.
Every cigar I smoked after that for 3 days, I could not get that flavor out of my mouth, man. I'm not disrespecting you in any way. I probably will give it another shot, but let me tell you, it's going to be the last cigar I have for about 2 or 3 days.
I got
My
one.
plan.
I got one with us today. I'll give it to you.
I appreciate that.
Of
Thank you,
course.
brother.
Of course.
Yeah.
Mhm.
No, it's it. I. What do you think? I mean, tell me about it. Tell me about that cigar.
Well, I've heard people describe it, as what, cat piss, and
I compared it to a pepper bomb.
yeah, pepper bomb. I love pepper though. That's the thing I'm seeking out for sure. Anything in my father's lineup, or who's the Don
Oh, Don Pepin.
Don Pepping, um, anything like that. You know, I'm drawn to, and going back to the artwork, the visuals. Whenever I first started smoking cigars, um, you know, looking at the artwork on the bands really, really, really made me buy a lot of my father's. Really got me into that.
Yeah, yeah. The Judge,
Mm-hmm.
My Father Blue is just that's one of my new favorites
Mm-hmm.
actually for this last year, 2025 is My Father Blue. It made a couple of top 25 lists for sure. Um, cigar, My Father's a good staple. A lot of those AJ Fernandez type cigars, Don Pepin Garcia's, um, My Father's. I mean, that whole series, that whole line. Don Pepin does a lot of the blends for La Roma de Cuba and
Mm-hmm.
San Cristobal. So, yeah, I mean, you really can't go wrong when it comes to those types of cigars.
But well, I mean, since we're hearing the dogs. I don't know if y'all can hear them. You know, when did you move to Tulsa? Are you from Tulsa?
Oh, good question. Yeah, so I grew up in California.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I graduated high school from Las Vegas, Nevada.
Yeah.
Um, enlisted in the Navy when I was 18.
Mm-hmm.
Um, by the time I got out of the service, there was nobody left living in California the immediate family, and everybody had moved away from Las Vegas as well. So my wife at the time, her mother was living in Tahlequah of all places. So
Mm-hmm.
I got to move to small town Tahlequah, Oklahoma.
Yeah.
Couldn't stand small town life, and so I moved to Tulsa in '99
Yes.
and been here ever since. And so really do enjoy it.
That's awesome, man. Talking about Tulsa, are there any hot spots, any places that call out to you that aren't cigar related?
Gathering Place is
Yeah.
really cool. I really enjoy that. Anything in Broken Arrow, I mean, Broken Arrow seems to be the best suburb. I only live on the other side of the street from
Yeah.
Broken Arrow, so um, there's a lot to do. There's as much to do in Tulsa, I think, as most other cities. We have great museums like the
Mm,
Gilcrease Museum, and we have botanical gardens. We have um, an airport nearby, which I enjoy. One of my hobbies, as you know, is flying.
yes.
I'm a private pilot, so
Mm-hmm.
I do get to enjoy that.
Well, anyway, we'll just keep this in.
All right.
We had to take a little break because I think we had a guest or something out there. I'm not sure, but
Yeah, I do have dogs. I have a couple labs. I'm a
yeah.
little lab crazy at home, and it's Buddy. This is Buddy.
Yeah.
Buddy's my buddy, cigar buddy.
Mm-hmm.
He has his own cigar, but I think he buried it the other
Oh
day.
yeah. So tell me about your cigar. Where are you on your second, third?
Well, yeah, I just hit the second, third, maybe a little bit ago. It's good. I'm still getting those same notes. A little bit of floral.
Yes.
A little bit of spice to it. It's picking back up. Again, on the retro hell, it's just more effective.
Yes.
Um, yeah. What about you? It looks like you're on your last third.
Yeah, I'm on my last third. I haven't been doing much talking, but during our break, I did. You referred to it as ogging it out.
Yeah.
Took a little poker to it, and that really opened it up. Really gave me a lot of smoke output, and I feel like I'm getting cinnamon almost.
Nice.
Cinnamon or graham cracker. I'm not sure. Probably
a little
cinnamon.
bit of both. Yeah.
But I really wish I would have done that sooner. Overall, the burn's been great.
Yeah, it's been even.
Hasn't
great.
Ashed out on me at all. Normally, I'm covered. I'm surprised this guy even lets me come in a cigar lounge because I'm always covered by the end of it.
It's kind of expected. It kind of comes with the territory. I've actually ruined a couple of shirts, unfortunately.
Yeah.
That's the part of it. One of the worst things I think you could wear is polyester, straight polyester.
Yeah.
Anything, because that ash will burn a hole right through that polyester, man.
Melt it to your skin.
It will, yeah. In fact, it actually made me one day when I did burn a big old hole in my polyester shirt. It made me realize I shouldn't go flying in that shirt because in case I have to crash land and
yes,
the plane's on fire, I'm probably going to be on fire too.
Did you want to tell us any more about your piloting?
Yeah, so about 3 years ago now, I had a dream about getting my pilot's license. So I about 3 years ago, I always as a kid I wanted to get my pilot's license.
Yes.
As a professional, but just was never able to make that happen. So 3 years ago, I started flight training. I got my private pilot certificate about a year and a half ago, and a year ago I got my instrument rating, and so I'm able to fly in like less than good conditions. It's really exciting. I belong to a flight club here in Oklahoma. Called the Oklahoma Airmen Flying Club.
Yeah.
We have about 10 different airplanes that I get to utilize for a fee, and that goes towards maintenance. And then, so anyways, I do enjoy flying a lot. It's a certain freedom that I have, and it makes it nice. I mean, basically, if you're traveling anywhere by airplane, it's about twice as fast as a car.
Yeah.
So you can actually save a lot of time.
Yeah.
It's another luxury I do enjoy.
Yes. Something I'm dying to get into is, I don't know if you can call it exotic car or not, or supercar or anything like that, but anything to do with cars. But I want a Corvette, a C8 Corvette. That's the dream. That's what I want to spend my money on.
It's funny you mentioned that because after you left the house last week,
Mm-hmm.
I started watching the story about Lamborghini,
Yes.
and that was a really good movie.
Yes.
I really enjoyed that. I'm not a car guy per se, although I do enjoy a good car.
Mm-hmm.
So, in other words, I do enjoy the classic cars. I do enjoy the modern cars, Corvettes,
Mm-hmm.
and the like. I mean, I do know a little bit about cars. I know how to work on them and
Yeah.
take care of routine maintenance. But I drive a Suburban actually.
Yeah.
I drive full size Chevy Suburban, 2021 Suburban. It's
Looking like
pretty
Tony
nice,
Soprano.
premier. Who's an idol?
Yes. Yes.
I think that's a common idol we
Yes.
have. Who enjoys cigars? I
Mm-hmm.
know actually the actor who's escaping me for the moment. Yeah,
James, I feel like.
yeah, James Gandolfini.
Yeah, James Gandolfini.
He really did enjoy cigars. He was actually a good aficionado, cigar aficionado. Did do a really good article
Mm-hmm.
when they interviewed Gandolfini one year. So yeah, that's really cool. It's I guess as you could pick better idols. Should be Superman or something, but yeah, just the aura of that whole show is
Mm-hmm.
really cool. I mean, it's part of our American history. It's part of our heritage, and
Yeah.
I think you said you have a little bit of Italian in the family, and so
A little bit.
you
I got a
know,
little bit mixed in there.
and that's phenomenal. I mean, it's a good culture overall. I mean, the mafia did kind of put a black eye on Italians,
Mm-hmm.
Italian Americans especially, but I mean, it's a great heritage. Italy is a beautiful country. I've actually been fortunate enough in my life to travel to almost 30 countries
Yeah.
and 46 United States. So being able to I've been to Italy at least 3 times now into 4 different ports. And I got to say, Italy is a beautiful country. It's everything they say and more.
That's my goal for 2027. My family's trying to go to Italy. Um,
I
I'm.
definitely make some recommendations for you.
Oh yes, yes. You can get me a list together. Send me some links. All the
You
hot
really can't
spots.
go wrong. Like
No.
even the bad parts of it, like Naples is kind of a dirty city. Like that's
Yeah.
what it reminds me of. There's still good parts of Naples though.
So my mom is big on traveling. She went to Italy and she didn't spend more than 2 days in one spot, one city, anything like that. Would you recommend something like that, or just really hunkering
Yeah,
down?
get around.
Yeah.
I've been to Sorrento. I've been to Pisa. The Leaning Tower,
Mm-hmm.
Pisa. I've been to Naples. Um, I've been to Sicily. Um, Italy is just it's pretty diverse for a smaller country. The provinces are divided up the way they are divided up. I haven't been to Venice yet. I mean,
Yeah.
that's another classic, but I haven't. I've been to the town near Bologna.
Mm-hmm.
Bologna is great. I mean, the food is just like you would imagine it.
Yes.
Love, absolutely love the pastry shops.
Yeah.
The just experiencing so much good food, so much flavor, so much history. And my favorite thing to do in almost any European country is enjoy a good cappuccino.
Oh
And
yeah.
actually, cappuccino and cigars pair just phenomenal. Um, there was several occasions where I reflect back on
Mm-hmm.
enjoying a good meal, enjoying a cup of cappuccino, but was missing the cigar piece to that. I've gotten since then gotten able to enjoy certain lounges,
Mm-hmm.
especially one in Tampa, Florida, that
Yeah.
serves an amazing Cuban coffee with their cigars. And one of those experiences you can't replicate that. You can't put that in a box and sell it. You just have to have that memory of just that enjoyment of it, being around other cigar. In fact, it was during the Yerba City Cigar Festival,
Mm-hmm.
which leads me to another question. Have you been to? Well, we met at a cigar
Yes.
festival event,
We met at a cigar event.
but before that, have you ever been to one?
I've never been to any cigar events. The most experience I had before then was, on the golf course with my buddies. What they recommended me, what they bought, and, I bought off them. I did go to, I think it is, what is it? Not the classic cigar.
Mm.
It's, I don't remember the name of it.
Oh, Mirda.
I don't know. I think Jeff works there or runs the place. Do you recognize Jeff by any chance?
I think it's a Mirda.
Well, anyway, I did go there. I would go there weekly. Chatted up with some people, but I didn't get out into the experiencing other people and experiencing lounges until I really met you.
Yeah, yeah. Um, Cigar Lahoma.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's how you pronounce it. That's the local cigar festival that they have every year. It's in April, so we'll
Yes.
have to go experience that. In fact, we may get some good footage of
Yes.
us going to
The
that.
vlog. We'll get the
Look
what do you call it?
forward,
Cigar Oklahoma vlog.
Cigar Oklahoma blog. Yeah. So, and then there are smaller events at the local shops.
Mm-hmm.
I always try to attend a cigar event, like when uh, Drew Estates was at the cigar box. I was
Yes.
able to get some phenomenal deals on cigars. That's the time to get your best deals at your local brick and mortar on cigars, and then also some really nice swag.
Yes.
So, for example, I got a blackened M81 cigar lighter,
Yeah.
cigar ashtray, some really cool gear to
Mm-hmm.
go with the cigars I was buying. And one of the cool things about Drew Estates when they put on an event, like you don't have to buy a box of a particular cigar. You could buy a variety of cigars,
Mm-hmm.
and they'll give you the swag and the discounts on based on the amount of cigars you're buying versus buying whole boxes of one or the other. And so it really gives you more value for your money when it
Mm-hmm.
comes to that. But we're definitely going to make the pilgrimage. We're gonna make the pilgrimage together to
Awesome.
Cigars International one of these days.
Yes.
Um, Man, you want to talk about probably the best brick and mortar. I wish we had one here in
Mm-hmm.
Tulsa. Um, as far as deals goes, as far as the variety, their humidor is massive. You're
Mm-hmm.
talking probably around 60,000 sticks in this
Man.
humidor, and they're the friendliest people in the world I've ever met. I've been to Scartopia, which is part of Cigars Daily
Mm-hmm.
Nation. They're having an event. They have 2 events a year, and then Yerba City Cigar Festival, which was just amazing. That was my first cigar festival experience. A lot of local lounges. Yerba City, if you're ever interested in looking up the history of Yerba City,
Yeah.
is just phenomenal. They used to have over 140 cigar factories pumping out cigars every day. They were the cigar capital of the world for about 40 years
Wow.
before the Cuban exodus. And so Yerba City still has J.C. Newman at it, which was one of my favorite factory tours I've ever been on. And just experiencing, again, that origin story,
Mm-hmm.
that that experience of knowing that this cigar I'm smoking is made the exact same way it's been made for about 300 years, which is pretty cool.
Yeah, it's an art.
Yeah.
You were talking about touring factories. I've heard you mention that you might be going to the Fuente uh,
Yeah. So in June,
factory. Yeah.
yeah, we're doing again another cruise. No
Yeah.
big surprise there. Then we port for one day in Dominican Republic,
Uh huh.
Amber Cove, which is about less than an hour drive to Santa Domingo.
Yes.
I might be getting that wrong. Santa Domingo has Arturo Fuente, Plasencia, among other makers there. Carlito
Mm-hmm.
Fuente often gives the tours. So right now I'm in the works of arranging not just the factory rolling floor, but also their fields, their aging houses where they cure the tobacco. And so getting the full experience from seed to finished product, I think that'll be a treasure.
It's gonna be awesome.
Yeah, I'm going to try to get some pretty good video of that and pictures and stuff and share that.
Well, I'll be going next time. I'll go next time.
Absolutely. In fact, the Pro Cigar Festival,
Yes.
they have that once a year. That's in February. That's coming up in February.
Mm-hmm.
We're doing that in 2027 or 28, depending on if
28.
you get to go to Italy.
I want to try to go to in 2028 to the, what'd you call it?
Pro Cigar
Do you want
Festival.
Do you want to touch on that a little bit?
So Pro Cigar is held in Dominican Republic once a year in February. Pro Cigar has all your big names in cigars. I mean, if you're rolling more than 100,000 cigars a year, they're gonna be at that Pro Cigar Festival. It's actually a 5-day festival.
Yeah.
And they have events every day at it, and it is a little bit pricey to go to, but the amount of cigars you're getting, the experience you're getting,
Mm-hmm.
is worth tenfold of what you're paying to go to that. So that's definitely going to be on the plans. That'll be a flight to Dominican Republic, staying for a few days.
Mm-hmm.
They have a golf tournament.
Ooh, we might need to enter that. Is it teams? Do you know?
I believe so.
Sweet. We'll have to get a foursome going.
Absolutely. Hopefully find somebody that's better than us.
Yes, to carry us. But I am at the end of my cigar. So let's go ahead and touch base on them real quick.
Well, what'd you think of your first Cuban cigar?
First Cuban, spectacular, amazing. Everything I've been looking forward to. Wanting to travel a lot more so I can sneak some home with me. Overall, I would for sure rate it a 9. I'd
9 out of 10.
Yeah, 9 out of 10 for sure. What about you?
I'm just now getting into my last third. It is a little bit slower burning, and that's some of the Cuban tobacco is well known for slow burning.
Mm-hmm.
I would rate this again. This is definitely I really only think of about 3 or 4 Cuban cigars when I think of Cuban cigars. Like I said, Cohiba,
Mm-hmm.
Sigo 6, which is my top rated. That's a 10 out of 10 to me as far as Cubans go.
Mm-hmm.
I do count Cubans on a different scale. Vegas Urbania, I think this is my number 2.
Yeah.
So I would rate this about an 8 out of 10.
Mm-hmm.
It's not the perfect cigar because of the clogging issues I've had, but that's not untypical of any Cubans I've had. They're either very, very loose or very, very tight.
Mm-hmm.
And then after that, Diplomatico, and then after that, Monte Cristo. But yeah, it's been a great experience. I do like this size better
Yeah.
than the Robusto that I've had before, and so it definitely smokes a little bit better. It's definitely constructed better. I'll probably take it down to the band. I probably won't nub it, just because I'm pressed for time and I want to enjoy something else.
Yes.
And I'm getting a little hungry, so speaking of Italian, we're probably going to make some pizza here in a little bit.
Ooh, handmade pizza? I'm excited. But, well, Mark, thanks for having me out here today.
You're welcome.
Thank you for the amazing stick. Thank you for the camaraderie that comes with it and having me in your home.
Yeah, you're welcome, Sam. Thank you for coming out, and we'll see you next time.
Of course. Thanks, guys.
Thank you.